So if you're listening to our podcast right now, you probably know about my family's loss. And I just want to say that the amount of outpouring online and emailing and people I still haven't been able to call back is incredible. I thought about this over the holidays and I decided to come back to the podcast because I think, it's a long day where you're not working, you get in your head, and I think it's going to be a great break. And I think it's really cool to laugh. And so with that, here I am with my old friend, David Spade, on with the show.
Dana, I have to say, to add to that there was so much goodwill out there that was going through me to tell you. Even Mrs. Farley, Chris's mom, wrote a letter for me to give to you. I couldn't give it to you yet because I hadn't seen you, but I just thought I'll wait on that. But just to show you, it's really everywhere, and I just didn't want to overload you. But as you know, everyone just was all very, very nice things. No one knows how to deal with it, but I agree that it's nice to do the show again.
I know it's very sweet, and if people say, "What if I could do anything?" and you really can't. It's like me and my wife and our son's private journey, and we're all together, and we do a lot of fun things. We really, we hike, go to church. You just want to make sure that you keep moving, and like I said, doing this and riffing with you, I think is going to be very healthy for me. And as I recover, because I'm kind of on the pain train, and with about millions of other people on this planet, and you don't know how long you're going to be on it, or when it'll stop, or when it will get better. But in the meantime, all this kind of stuff is very healthy. So
I agree. I mean, I've gone through things. Now I can't say the same things, but when I have things in my life, sometimes I go back too quickly, like a day later, a week later. But I do like to get my mind off things, and it doesn't mean I've forgotten anything. It just means I just need a break. And we laugh a lot together when we're together, and I like leaving you messages and trying to make you laugh because, just things in life happen, but we can move on. And we're just gonna this episode of Fly on the Wall is just me and you, and which I kind of like. I'm so sick of those fucking guests. But other than that, no, they're good. But
you're so needy, and you got to do research. And where did you go to high school?
I know. And toward the end of it, I'm like, oh wait, do they have to talk? We have to go to them sometimes. So I just wanted to catch up with you on a few things because I haven't seen you in a bit, and it was a lot happened. There was award season, and I don't know if you did see. Well, basically, honestly, they should really just connect all these awards and make them one day. It's just 2 hour show and then just go right into the next one. You know what I mean? Powder the makeup, switch the dress, and because it's too many, and they're all the same, exactly the same.
I get that its purpose is to promote the industry, but it does at a point when you're watching it. I was watching the Critics' Choice, and there's a point where there's so much praise heaped on the person who is actually just playing in front of a camera and stuff. It's like they're
playing a pretend
world
thing.
yeah. I mean,
I like
it's
when
great,
you said. I like when you go. I know the purpose is to promote the industry. I'm like, I didn't even know there was a purpose. I'm glad you figured out there was a purpose too.
Yeah, it's like they make believe in front of a lens. It's not like they've landed on Mars, and they know it. But you heal a broken world when you play the Dracula
Barbie
character or whatever. But well, Barbie was a great movie. I have nothing against it, but yeah, it's award shows are really funny that way. It just is.
I was. This is the week of like Emmys, Oscars are coming up. I was shockingly up for 2 Golden Globes and 2 Emmys. The Golden Globes were the first funniest because when you're up for TV, they seat you in the back. Don't get near the precious movie stars. You can't tell on TV. But I was back in La Mirada. Like if I won somehow, I would have had to take a shuttle to the stage because I couldn't have gotten up there before a commercial. It would have been like, excuse me, pardon me, like Bugs Bunny, excuse me. So luckily I didn't win. And then when I did the Emmys, this is the grossest story because I'm sitting there. I'm pretty close to the front because I was up for a supporting actor or whatever.
Nice.
And then they literally go, and the winner is, and they show us all, and they go, David Hyde Pierce. And I swear to God on David, I made a move. I lifted 10% of my body weight, and that's all it took for people to go, he thought he fucking won for a second. I go, no, I didn't. I was shifting. I was giving him a standing ovation. So embarrassing.
So in your head, when you heard David, you lifted up and you heard Hyde Pierce, in your head, did you think, David, and then I lose?
Yep.
And you sat back down.
It got to David, and I didn't think there was another David. And I just started to lift, like the puffiness of my feathered hair was just starting to lift up a 1/4 inch, and they go, Hyde Pierce, and I just quickly deflated, and people were like, let's roll that again. That motherfucker flinched. He moved a little bit.
Oh, they did?
He thought he won, and everyone was like, I saw you. Back. No, thank God, Lord, there wasn't memes. Oh, I would have been the biggest clown. But, I was up for it. That's the important part.
You do. I'd done 10 years of stand-up. I was on SNL, but I desperately didn't want to win at that moment. Lauren was sitting behind me. I was nominated, and I just broke out in a cold sweat. I don't even know what it was. I just did not want to have to go up there and get that award. But I did win one.
It's a grotesque feeling. Oh, you won?
Whoops. Sorry. How'd that get out? Yes. Something slipped out. No, I did finally win one 6 years later. And Bob Hope, the Bob Hope for you people under 70, he handed me my award. That was kind of weird. You see someone as a kid on TV.
Dude, that's funny because I'm not that old, but Amelia Earhart gave me mine.
Yes, Henry VIII nominated me.
You're like, that was the one where I think Queen Elizabeth I was hosting.
Yeah, I think Jesus introduced the person who gave me the award.
And then
but wait a minute, there was no
Pilate was sitting next to me.
Attila the Hun was up for best plunder on the
Dude, tell me, so
there.
what did you win for? Was it for SNL character? It was a guest starring or hosting?
I got nominated, but I finally won because in those days, I think you were put in. I was up against Cirque du Soleil and stuff. It was like a variety thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was up against jugglers and circus people, and I don't know, lion tamers.
That's what I am to the world.
And then I'm the sketch guy. So then someone said, they don't even really look at the tapes. He told me the behind the scenes of how to win an Emmy. So somehow I changed my little byline or something. That's how I probably got it. But
because it is true what you're up against. Because I was up for the Golden Globes were tougher because it was Best Supporting Actor on TV or movies. So I feel like I already won because it wasn't a comedy. It was comedy, drama, and movies that are on TV. So I was up against, I think, Don Cheadle from ER. And then talk about old. You know who won? Gregory Peck. No joke. He did 90 seconds is a cameo in a movie called Moby Dick. And he went up there. And I was so shocked because I thought he died 10 years before that. So he walks up there and then he goes, I can't believe I'm getting an award for a 90-second cameo. And I'm in the back going, me either. Give it to me.
His name is Greg Pecking Order was his real name, but he shortened it to Peck. But I'm Gregory Peck and used to talk very deep. I actually was at an award show. Now that we're on award show stuff, Kirk Douglas was getting the AFI Lifetime Achievement Award because I'd done a movie with him and Burt Lancaster the year before. And Danny DeVito, I'd only been on SNL 10 shows. He introduced me to the stage. Here's a guy, Saturday Night Live. So no one knew me. Very nerve-wracking. So I did that. But Gregory Peck was sitting next to me and my wife. And her mom's ultimate movie star is Gregory Peck. So before the show started, we went over and said hello to him, and he couldn't have been nicer. But then behind us was we heard this person go, and it was Lauren Bacall, and she was pissed.
Ooh.
I could see what Bogart put up with.
Really?
I felt bad for Humphrey Bogart that moment.
He would put up with
No, we were in the wrong.
The AFI award, that's the Teamsters Union, I think, award.
Yes.
These people, Gregory Peck, the AFI, which is the Auto Workers Union Award, I think. they are nervous, and I was nervous there being up for many, many, many awards. So, which brings me to Joe Coy, because so many people said, hey, you're a stand-up and you've hosted stuff. How did he do? And it's such a big subject because I think one of them, I don't think he bombed, really. I think that was a rumor that got started and then everyone kind of ran with it. People go, I heard he was horrible. And I go, did you see it? They go, no, but that's what I heard. And I go, well, it's not that fair because you're nervous getting an award. So you're playing for a crowd of people that just want to get the monologue over with so they can figure out, did I win or not? So I can relax. Mm-hmm. That's one problem. And I think he's not as well known as a lot of hosts. Steve Martin, everyone reveres. Ricky Gervais, everyone fears. I mean, he's up there. Like him or not, he's very ballsy. He's had huge hit shows. He's very respected. Mm-hmm. And he's one of them. And I think Joe Coy, who's a successful comedian, isn't really in the movie and TV world, if you agree, so when he comes up, it's like, how dare you talk to Robert De Niro? You know what I mean? There's a little of that, I think.
Well, to put Joe Coy in context, yes, he's a gigantic stand-up with a huge following. But in the way the world works now, it doesn't always matriculate to across-the-board fame from sea to shining sea. So a lot of people may not have been familiar. You know, Joe Coy plays arenas. He sells out the Forum. He riffs, he does characters, he tells stories. He's like a powerhouse and incredibly likable. And he just ran into an audience that was a regular kind of corporate date that a lot of times they don't, you're not the star of the show, you know? When you do stand-up, he headlines as he's the star of the show. Now it's a guy who'll fill some time before the awards, you know? So it's difficult for everyone. Ricky Gervais saying, this is it. I'll never do it again. Never. You're nothing. You know nothing. You've never been anywhere. You don't mean anything. And he's telling the audience that. So he took all the power back, but only he could do that because that's just who he is. But it was so funny.
That is a rare thing where you're allowed to do that. But like Steve Martin and Martin Short, I think people like to watch. They're already halfway, 90% laughing when Steve Martin comes up. And when it's Joe Coy, they're at 0. They're going, okay, you've got a lot to do here.
Right.
To get me going.
Yeah.
I think.
Yes.
And going, Taylor Swift was almost pre-offended when she sat down and was just waiting because I agree. Like she's there, she's a big star. I mean, he could have said, you know, the Golden Globes, when they found out Taylor Swift was here, they were going to switch it over to Peacock because that's what the NFL did. It's a good one. But Taylor Swift, I think he did do a soft joke towards her, which wasn't really offensive, but I think she gave him the Joaquin Phoenix Gladiator thumbs down, and once that happened, the tide.
So the idea was he was trying to make fun that when she's at an NFL game, the NFL cuts away to her, but we're not going to do it so much here. It was kind of was that the exact joke? It was something like, so we're going to have more cutaways in the end.
It was something that was kind of innocuous. It wasn't really a burn or anything. She could have made a face like, look at me, I'm so cute. They keep showing me, and everyone would have laughed. You know, I think when they showed Meryl Streep or someone like Martin Short, they went with the joke and just goofed around and then people laugh because they go, oh, are they okay with it? Oh, okay. But when she kind of iced it, it was a bit of a heavy lifting after that. And that's tough. You know.
Yeah. Well,
I've been there.
I've done a lot of corporate dates, and you get used to them, and you don't have any expectations, and you make sure that you just try to charm them, and then you could have a little fun. You know.
Yeah. They always come up to you and go, "Hey, the CEO's here. Say something about him. He's got 3 balls and beats his wife. Try to work that in." And I go, "Oh, okay, sure." He also said he had 10 days to prepare. He only had 10 days. I would have said, and I spent the first 9 watching Killers of the Flower Moon. And that's kind of funny because the movie's so long, but you're just making fun of the length and it has no real edge on it to really hurt someone's feelings. Everyone feels like, oh, I could laugh at that. We all know it's long. But when the color purple joke about
Ozempic.
Hemorrhoids and Ozempic. Yeah. I just thought, I don't know if I'd mix a race movie with a joke. It's just a dicier outcome.
Yes.
It makes people tighten up.
Yeah. And I think Joe did say that they actually kind of were writing almost the day of, actually, because it's sort of getting the team together. You know what? He's selling out the Forum this weekend or something. I mean, he's going to be fine. This is nothing. And he's actually more famous, and I think he handled it very well at the end of the day. You know, you feel some empathy for him because he's a brilliant stand-up. It's ridiculous. I want to host it next year and see if I can bomb intentionally.
Worse. Mm-hmm.
We're available.
One more thing against him. Or going against him, not him personally, because I do like him. He's been on this podcast. He was great. If you want to get a feel for him, you can listen to that one. But it's the first time I've read ahead of time that people turned it down, like Chris Rock, Ali Wong. So that's another thing you got going against you. Everyone's like, oh no, who's going to do it? Who'd they wind up with? And then he comes out and they go, oh, they wound up with this guy. So he's got to win them over a little extra on top of that. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good observation. Now I'm remembering that. They listed all the people that turned it down. And these are like long-term iconic names like Chris Rock or Tina Fey. And and Joe Coy's doing it. Huge following.
And so they go,
not a household
so they got
name.
him. If you don't know him, they go, oh, that.
If you haven't
so
seen his specials on Netflix,
Right. And then some people do know him and some people just go with the crowd and go, oh, are we deciding to ice him like it's high school, like it's Mean Girls?
Yeah.
By the way, if one joke didn't work, I'd go, oh, so it's Asian hate? That's what I'd say at my first joke, just to make people go, oh, no, I like you. And then they'd have to stand up and applaud.
Oh, yeah, that would be a nice table turner.
Yeah, Taylor
a lot
Swift. Of Asian hate out here tonight.
By the way, with Taylor Swift and Kelsey, what's his name?
Travis Kelce.
Is there like a Bennifer? Is anyone put together because we know Swifties, but do we have one for them?
Oh, you got any?
I couldn't come up with anything that.
One.
Yeah, Swifty Travis.
I think it's Trailer. No, wait, there was something I heard once.
Oh,
it wasn't that catchy.
She's
people
Taylor. Kaylor.
Do you know that they're saying Cillian Murphy's name wrong? They say Killian, but the real name is Cillian Seabass. Anyway, why aren't I hosting with those doozies?
Well, look, this whole podcast here is really a soft audition for David to host next year's Golden Globes. And with these powerhouse one-liners that are coming out, let me put it to you this way. There's lots more where that came from.
If everyone at home's listening going, is this guy on joke steroids? These jokes are too good. They can't be real. He's hitting HRs, dingers out the
it's like he's just coming off of the top with it. Really, I'd love to see that. Mm-hmm. No, that's all gonna.
But Chelsea Handler, who we haven't had on, but we all know Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
She
did the Critics' Choice Awards. Yeah,
and you saw that, but people said, "Oh, she got one in on Joe Coy, her ex-boyfriend," so that makes it even extra juicy. But I wonder if he texted
kind of soft, though,
Yeah.
What? And, every room's different. You'd have to be in the room at the Golden Globe as a stand-up, like sit there, see how they're talking, get the vibe, and then get the vibe of where the Critics' Choice Award, what the feeling of it was. But I would say that she charmed them. There was a lot of compliments and charm, and then jokes. But maybe that's was just she was going to do it anyway. But she really,
Right. I think she knew. At least she got to look at that one and say, what can I learn from that? And if she's going to do a joke, because Joe Coy people got mad. He said, oh, those are the writer's jokes. They don't work. The ones I write are good. Something like that. Now, the next host that ever did anything might want to do a joke like that, say, that was from my writers, just to get them an applause, like that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, there's 48 award shows between January and February, and that's literal. And there is a possibility that Cillian Murphy might win the Oscar and then forget that he was in the movie. It had been so long and so many award shows. He goes, what am I up here for? They travel the world. And I should introduce it. David and I are now going to do a special third podcast where we just critique award shows.
I know. What are we doing? We're going too far. We should talk more about what else can I tell you about my road gigs this weekend on my tour. I was in the blizzard, Dana.
There was an icy storm in the Midwest, and you were apparently caught in the middle of it. Can you speak to that?
Thank you for these hard-hitting questions.
Well, you had called me, I think, or we talked, and you said you didn't know if the gig was happening. Yeah. You were pretty upset.
Yeah, they were saying, I'm going to Chicago. They say it's the worst blizzard, Blizz watch. And it's so crazy. Of course, people go, you're going to go to Chicago and Michigan in January. I'm like, oh, I'm sure it'll be fine. I mean, what are you going to catch? A blizzard? Of course, blizzard shut down the airport. I got in, landed, and then everything shut down. School is shut down. They're like, and people like on DMs going, please don't do the show. I live 4 blocks away. I'll never make it. I'm like, 4 blocks? I just flew 6 hours. Like, I'm going. If I can go, I'm going. I can't bail out on the people that show up. If one person shows up, I'd feel horrible that I didn't go on. So I tried, and all day I just watched the local weather. It was so weathery. The weather guy would go, talk for 20 minutes. He goes, let's throw to, and they threw to another weather guy. I'm like, I've never seen him throw to more weather. And it was like a chick because she was like tired going, okay, I got it from here. All right. Yeah, it's horrible. And so it's weather porn at a certain point because they just want to get you so terrified. The guy is taking Blizz pics. I took a little Blizz pics and the girl was showing her boobs. It is like porn. I mean, it's very similar. So I was scared. Everyone was scared.
How are you going to turn off a weather guy if he's saying it's dangerous out there? We're going to tell you right after this word from our sponsors. You could get killed if you walk outside. Hi, I'm Johnny Weather Guy.
Yeah, they show. And I'm in a building that's going, it's swaying. And I'm like, hey, Chicago, quit pretending like you don't know about snow and wind and cold. Like, that's your whole pitch. That's your license plate.
Isn't it called the Windy City? What do you mean?
Yeah, I know. And they're like, there's wind. I'm like, guys, quit. I'm not in Arizona saying it's hot. I can't believe it. Like, this is how it is here. And everyone's scared. And then Bobby Miyamoto, who is my opener, we go to North Face and it's closed for inclement weather. And he's like, guys, this is your Super Bowl. Why are you closed? What? North Face is closed. This is the one place that should be open. You need a coat.
Well, he needs a coat and he can't get in the store. So what is he supposed to do? Shouldn't it have to be open?
This is all they want is cold weather. And they're like, guys, it's freezing. We're like, no shit.
See, if Trump was president, he'd be like, we're going to keep North Face open. We're going to keep it open. We're going to open. We're going to keep it open. I told them, and they're going to open it up.
Everyone's talking about it. Everyone's saying
everybody said it. Let me tell you, but they don't know. So did you do the first night then? You did the gig.
So Chicago turns into like, hey, it was a pretty big theater. They're like, hey, if there's not a power outage, we're going to go. And I'm like, if I can get there, I'll go. So I went there. I'm like, I got to get to Chili's first, whatever. So I get there and it was probably 80% full. It was sold out, but probably 20% just didn't come. And then
80% full. So it was 18,000 people about.
Yeah. So it was like a little more than the Super Bowl. And then the next night was Michigan, where I was born in Michigan. And we were up in Royal Oak, I think it was called. And that was full. And by the time we got up there, it wasn't quite as bad. So it was pretty still sold out. It wasn't, they were a little tougher about it. I thought it was odd that, and this is pointless to say, but the Kansas City football game was on and the Buffalo game was canceled when they were both like horrible weather, like below 0. Why cancel one?
And not the other. Interesting. I don't think Taylor Swift made a call. Hello, President Biden.
Hello, President of the world. I'm doing it.
Taylor Swift is on line 3.
She's like, if I flew here, the game's going. Thumbs up. And they're like, she says thumbs up. It's on.
Well, my wife
kinda
did
true.
watch the game because she wanted to see the Taylor Swift reaction shots up in the frozen booth. There's always one guy. It's 40 below wind chill, no exaggeration, with no shirt on. And they never follow what happens to this guy. Has he ever heard of frostbite?
When he dies immediately after. It is it's a life to get on YouTube and to get on some cutaway on camera. And they all, they paint their face, take the shirt off, and it's a lot of Bert Kreischer out there. And they all look like Bert Kreischer, exactly.
There's a whole stadium full of Berts. That'd be a great audience.
Yeah. And so they do it, and they hope. And if you don't get on camera, then you're really fucked, because then you're like, why did I get hypothermia for nothing? My nuts are in my fucking throat, babe.
Christ's sakes. I did a movie in Canada once, and it was like 40 below, and at the night shoots, they'd yell out, "Someone's got frostbite." Yeah. Nicolas Cage and I and John Lovitz, and you'd wear 3-4 layers of clothes, like clothes, more clothes. And then in between shots, they'd put a thing around your face, just your eyeballs, and you had goggles on. And they were doing fake snow. And anyway, it was a paycheck.
It's so hard. Night shoots are horrible, and cold is very tough. I didn't go to Barney's, and I went to Barney's years ago to buy a big winter jacket. And I go, I need one for the snow, and I need one for winter. And they go, oh, this is a great one. It was a puffer with leather on the outside, and it was very expensive. They go, but a lot of the rappers wear it. And I said, oh, done. That's all I need to hear. It's already confirmed cool. And then I said, I'll take it skiing. And he goes, ooh, I wouldn't wear it in the snow. I go, you wouldn't wear your winter coat in the snow? And he goes, mm-mm. I go, what about the rain? He goes, no. I go, what would you wear? He goes, I wouldn't wear it in rain, drizzle, dusty, cloudy, thunder, sunset.
It's kind of nice
fog,
hung up in your room. It's drizzle. More of a show.
Yeah, he goes, it's more of an indoor coat for Instagram. I would take a photo
meant for wearing. You can wear it, but it's not advisable.
I go, well, like I just wear it in my kitchen. He goes, more of a living room.
I wouldn't.
Too many windows. So I it's hard to wear a coat on the plane. The coats are so big on this dog shit flight. They had to stop my flight. They're like, we're leaving in 4 minutes. And everyone's like, okay. And then the one thing that's infuriating is we're sitting for 40 minutes and we haven't done anything, and they give us no information. And the flight attendants are cackling up front. They're like, where are you going tonight? Oh, last night, blah, blah. And I'm like, you can't be happy until we take off. You have to be sad like us, stressed, worried, like, oh, we're trying to get this plane off the ground. They're just giggling, tickling. And then we finally get on the runway. And we've got to fucking they go, we got to de-ice they're doing it. They de-ice the wings, then we're going to ice them again. I'm like, why are we icing them? Then they go, now we got to de-ice them. We fucked up because we iced them. Dana, you don't get it.
I took a private jet out of Wendover, Nevada, and the pilots looked like they're right out of high school. It was after a gig. Mark Pitter was my opener at a casino. It was probably a rickety bargain basement private jet. And so they had to wake up the de-icing guy. He was asleep because it was like 1 a.m. And he comes in, he's got one of those guys, he has a long beard, and then he has a rubber band around it and more beard. And so he gets out on the machine and they haul us out there and they're de-icing. And then we get out in the tarmac in the middle of nowhere. It's just ice everywhere. And the young pilot gets out of the plane and I'm going to look around at the ice. So he goes around, looks at the ice. Mark Pitt has had at least 2 bottles of red wine. Yeah. And then he comes back in and I said, when will we know? When will we know? He goes, 20 seconds. If we're actually getting lift. 20 seconds. After 20 seconds, you'll know. After the wheels are up, 20 seconds. If we fly for 20 seconds, then we know the integrity that we've iced properly and we're going to fly. He said 20 seconds.
And then what if it doesn't work?
I said, could I get off? And he said, too late. And he floored it. And I'm just counting.
It goes, I heard this on a plane once. And it goes beep, 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 beep. And it was beeping. And the guy hit a button. And I go, did you fix it? And he goes, I fixed the noise. And I go, but what? Why is there? Why? What about what's causing the noise? And he goes, sometimes these things have a way of figuring themselves out in the air. Let's go for it.
Well, hey, look, I don't fly private jets all the time. I'm not to have international wealth, but you can see the pilots and you hear things, and you don't like to hear this when you're flying. Pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up. That's the computer.
Traffic.
Pull up.
Yeah, I hear that. I can hear a regular plane. You walk up, I go, what's going on up here, guys? Traffic. I'm like, wait, 500 feet. I go, what do these mean? What's going on? Why aren't you worried?
400 feet, 300 feet. Pull up.
Lots of planes heading your way. Ice, de-ice, ice, baby.
I was up there and I was yelling, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? And I heard the computer say, shut up, shut up, shut up.
Three
to
times.
Me.
Yeah.
3 times.
Who's this clown? I like when the pilot, I was sitting on the plane because it was all the way from Michigan. And then the pilot comes out and he takes a dump, and they have to put the bev cart in front of there. They won't even let me stand up. I know I'm not allowed to charge the cockpit. I know that part.
I know.
Or look at the cockpit or head that way. She's like laying on it. And then I just get up to go in the overhead to grab something. She goes, you'll have to sit down. You can't be in the aisle. I go, am I the guy? Am I throwing it all away so I can somehow crash this plane and go to jail, whatever. And then the worst part is we're all timing the pilot because he comes out so long, like 40 minutes. He's like,
all the pilots unload like nobody's business. I don't know what they're doing over there. They're holding it during layovers. I don't know, but they definitely see God in there, man. It takes forever.
Dude, he took his time, read the paper. He comes out, he goes, what's going on out here? I go, well, we crashed on an island because there's no pilot. So do you want to help me gather coconuts? There was no one in the fucking flying the plane.
5 foot tall flight attendant with her arms crossed, standing in front of the beverage cart. If she's going to tackle Abdul, who was ever diving at the beverage cart. Well,
Jesus.
All terrorists are named Abdul. Good, we're canceled.
Pick a random name. It could be
Steve.
Yeah.
Steve. He's the new head of ISIS.
Steve, the terrorist.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you before I get rid of you, Dana, because I got so many things to do today.
I know you do have a big life.
But I was realizing, because when I got back from vacation, I don't get many Christmas cards anymore sent to me in the old days.
No.
Now I get lazy emails with a photo, and I don't even get many of those. The last one was, happy holidays from your family at Toyota of North Hollywood. And where you got a oil change 3.5 years ago. I'm like, are you really my family? And then they have a picture of their 3,000 employees. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? Look, hey, there's Kenny from sales, I think, in the back. So, and then it says at the bottom, please join us for our hot chocolate brunch reception. I'm like, that was the worst fucking party I've ever been to. Kenny wasn't there.
Come to Valencia on Saturday, February 18th for a special barbecue.
With all the Toyota dealers and employees. I'm like, oh, I hope the guy that told me where the bathroom was there. That's the only guy I talked to in the whole place.
Hey, we should pick on someone who's not our sponsor. Come to all new Hyundai.
Oh, right.
March 4th.
Oh, right.
The Hyundai barbecue for all our...
Listen, I'm spinning this to where at least Toyota's inviting me places.
Hey, man, Toyota, I did a gig for them once, where a corporate date where Jack Palance and I were doing a sketch together. Like 8,000 people. And he's dressed like the city slicker. He's dressed like a cowboy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was so nervous that he had a ballistic breakdown right before he went out. He literally went crazy. Yeah. God damn it, you gotta find it. Because they told him to move because they're bringing cars through. And then he goes out and he nails it perfectly, super charming. But I just thought, this is going to go down. We are in trouble.
He was off his city slickers heat?
Yeah. Yeah, doing corporate.
He had a lot of heat after that.
Oh, yeah. He wandered around and stuff. But,
he did one-handed push-ups on the Oscars, right? Is that his claim to fame?
Yeah. Friend of Billy Crystal's. He went to the stars.
Friend of
I don't know
John
why I said
Lovitz.
that. What were we talking about?
We were talking about Toyota and then talking about you were dating Jack Palance.
Oh, Christmas cards. Yeah. I don't know about you, but lately I've just, I've allowed everything. Because, they say allow location.
Oh yeah.
I just say yes. So I
You
used to
do? You
mix it
gave
up,
up?
or no, I just go, yeah. And then I go down and accept
Fucking
cookies. Cookies,
give me
yeah.
those fucking. I'm the cookie monster.
You want to
Just give
accept
it. I don't
them or
care.
manage them? I press manage them. It goes, that's like accepting them. Thank you.
I like it goes, hey, it doesn't matter if you want these cookies, just press yes or no. And I press no and it kicks me off the website. I go, well, I guess I have to say yes or I can't do anything. They're like, you're starting to get it.
Yeah,
Eat
starting
your
to get,
fucking
definitely.
cookies.
If
Yeah.
you don't say yes to cookies, you don't allow them, you don't allow your location, your service gets kind of sloppy, your connection gets soft, and that's how they get you.
They know you don't care because they go, are you allowing us to use your camera roll and use it against you at some point? And I said, yes. Let me just see this menu I'm looking at or whatever.
I don't know. I always end up
Are we allowed to look in your bank and take money out of it? And I'm like, yes.
Can we harvest your information and sell it globally to make ourselves rich? Can we get inside your personal information and put it out in the open market so people can target market you? And by the way, iPhones do listen. There's no way you're talking and then it shows up on your computer or in your email what you were saying.
Are we allowed to watch you masturbate through your camera and then film it and then put it on YouPorn? I'm like, yes. Just let me see this menu.
Are we allowed to deliver a camera that we can stick on your crotch?
We're realizing the camera we gave you to spy on you isn't good enough. Can you clip a camera onto your laptop next time you have sex?
It's a crotch cam. We'll deliver it to you. Are we allowed to deliver it to this address? And we'll send real cookies. We're in the wrong.
If you hit cookies, we will give you real cookies to go with the cookies. That sounds pretty good.
Well, I think for more sweet tooth, I have a thing called cream pie. Allow cream pie.
Excuse me?
I've been getting a lot of allows. Let me put it that way.
I've been getting a lot of cream pies in my algo.
Does that sound sexual?
Anyway, maybe we should go on that. It is sexual. I hate.
Is it? I didn't know.
Oh yeah.
What's the most delicious, irresistible dessert? Ask Heather.
All right, let's end on that accidental dirty thing. But we want to tell everyone also, Dana.
Yes.
We are doing a spinoff. We're doing another podcast called Superfly, spinoff of Fly on the Wall.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be starting, I think, February 2nd. And it's going to be on video.
Yes, we're making the leap. And then we'll be on YouTube. And you'll be able to see what we look like, filters, and what we feel like.
And we'll have clips on Instagram and TikTok, and you can comment saying, oh my God, these guys got old or whatever.
How do they look that good? We'll be on camera doing stuff. So I'll tease this. I have a new bit I'm working on where Barack Obama calls Joe Biden and can't quite hear him clearly. So he gets Hunter Biden to interpret. So that'll be on Superfly.
And you can see it, which is even funnier. So you get to see us.
That's right.
Working our bits.
Yes.
And it's funny. So that starts soon. So watch that also. And Fly on the Wall. Now we're back for this year, 2024. So we have a lot of good people coming up. And I hope you keep tuning in. We really appreciate it that you've made it a big hit show. We really, really appreciate it. So thank you so much.
I never thought I'd hear the word season 3.
Yeah. I didn't know we had season 3. So we have a season 3. And thank you so much, everybody. And we will see you on Superfly and Fly on the Wall. Bye, thank Dana.
You. Goodbye, David.
This has been a presentation of Odyssey. Please follow, subscribe, leave a like, a review, all the stuff. Smash that button, whatever it is, wherever you get your podcasts. Fly on the Wall is executive produced by Dana Carvey and David Spade, Jenna Weiss-Berman of Odyssey, Charlie Finan of Brillstein Entertainment, and Heather Santoro. The show's lead producer is Greg Holtzman. Whitney Cummings on today, Dana. Whitney, she's one of my friends that when I'm on Instagram, I used to see her podcast on there right when we were starting. I was like, oh, she has one, and Theo and Tim Dillon. All of people I know and hang out with a little bit. So Whitney, it was about time. You know, Fly on the Wall has got a little leaning toward SNL, but we also work in just funny comics to get a good funny hour out of it.
She loved SNL.
And they all love SNL, and they're all influenced by SNL.
The connection.
That's our big tie-in.
She comes in with a lot of energy and really dropping some funny ad libs in this. I wanted you to call her, or I'd call her and say, I don't know if those are planned bits, but you can make a special out of some of those things.
Yeah, some of these things are.
She has some very, very funny riffs and lots of energy.
Yeah, good on her feet. A lot of good road stories. She was the first. When I met her, she was show running 2 shows. She had Whitney, the show, and she also had 2 Broke Girls she created. And that was just right when she got here when she was 29, I think. So she's been working hard since. So I see her a lot at the Improv and the Comedy Store. And she just had a baby, and we're all trying to figure out who's the dad.
That's the reality show. And the host is, the initials are DS.
Yeah. Welcome to Who the Baby Daddy. So anyway, Dana does a timeout.
No, I was doing a scissor for Greg.
Yeah. Okay, we can cut that. Anyway, we have.
It's bad enough we made fun of Biden. We don't need this on us.
Yeah, we don't need this shit.
The mics will be turned off next. No, anyway, she was great. Really, really fun, high energy interview.
Here is the lovely and hilarious Whitney Cummings.
I wasn't the star of the Zoom COVID shows like you were, Spade.
How dare you right off the bat.
You played elevators. Didn't you play an elevator once? You did just like a 1-minute set.
He headlined a fountain at the Grove.
I thought we weren't going to do this, Whitney.
I thought, dude, he killed at the American Girl Place. God damn it, I said it.
You fucked it up. Thank you. Thank you.
No.
God, that's all I wanted, all I wished for.
Can you say it again? Just articulate it.
He killed at the American Girl doll place. I don't even know what it's called.
Close enough. I did pretty good when I did the balcony of Cheesecake Patio.
Dude, I could not follow you at Build-A-Bear. You murdered.
Oh, that was pretty smooth. Okay.
Thanks. I'm warming up.
You know where I never do well? Zara, changing room.
At Zara. By the way, are you one of those people? Do you shop at Zara?
I walk by, yeah.
You know, like, I love the new brag that people do that they have the least expensive clothes. It used to be like, it's Gucci. If someone's like, I like your shirt, you'd be like, Gucci or whatever.
Yeah.
But now it's like Zara. Like, I only paid $10 for it. Like 19 children made it.
Yeah. More kids made it. It costs way less.
That's not even a tie-dye. That's a child's tear. Like, they're bragging of how cheap their clothes are now.
Uh-huh. Yeah, well, the whole economy has made America turn into Erewhon.
Erewhon. You know,
Erewhon.
I'm jumping in. I don't even know if we're recording. Are
we?
We're
almost over, yeah.
Oh.
We are, and there's no structure and no really good idea.
I've listened to the show. I agree. One of my favorite. No, I love this show. That's why I'm here.
It's unbelievable.
No, there's a lot of them. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say there's a lot of shows out there. 3 million. Mm-hmm.
By the way, I'm going to say something that's going to get me in trouble. I'm going to say something that's going to get me uncast from the sequel to the Pop-Tart movie. Okay. Your interview with Seinfeld was, I think, maybe the best of anyone that's ever interviewed him. Maybe the only good one.
Whoa, that won't get you in trouble with us.
He was so funny.
He loves, as you know, the process of stand-up. I think he could have done another 2 hours about the idiosyncratic aspect of the art of or science of stand-up, right?
He was he just kept saying to you guys, like, fascinating. I loved it.
He liked it. And he's also not afraid to tell me when I have a horribly dumb question. But I like that because that means that when he's positive, it's real.
But that's what I think, he was trying to figure out. I loved when he said, do you guys listen to podcasts? Why? Spade, I heard you laugh.
I said, no, why would I never do that?
But I think, these things are a mess. But I liked it because it felt like there's so few people he could be gruff with. Like, I think that when you're a comic, you're like a heavyweight and everyone else is a lightweight, not in a negative way. You're better if you're not someone whose default is to play rough. But the fact that he really felt like he could like play rough with you and play, and it felt like he was it's rare that I see him have that much fun.
the fascinating nexus between him and Leno, who Leno probably had maybe the best quote in the history of stand-up, defining it for open micers. Write joke, tell joke, get check.
And that really boiled it down.
And Jerry is a disciple, I don't know religiously, but he's into Stoicism, which is this Roman emperor thing that you do not create problems you don't have, and problems you can't solve, you ignore. So Jerry's bluntness is a push against that. Like, well, what if I don't have new material? No, write more jokes. It's like, and it's that's where it's coming from. And once I understood that, I thought I wasn't on my heels. Like, what's all this aggression coming from? He just can't stand negativity.
Well, he also says he doesn't suffer fools.
Okay.
Like, if you're
I want to hear what
funny,
Whitney says.
No, I'll get to her.
Which, by the way, Spade, I was about to give Spade a compliment just really quick. I love listening to both of you together. I get why this show's a hit. One of my favorite things Spade has ever done is when you were on Howard Stern. This must have been like 12 years ago. I love it when you drop a reference that is so esoteric. Truly, no one gets it. I think I'm the only one. You sat down on Howard Stern's couch and you went, "Oh, what is this? The gallery?" I mean, it's like there's one The gallery. It hasn't been open in like 20 years.
It's out in Alhambra.
It was just like, I love it. You're like, one's for you and that one was for me.
Thank you. Yes, it was weird furniture.
It is a funny moment when you go on Howard Stern and they put you in and you sit there and then they put the thing on you and the mic is there. It's like you're getting a little kid's hat on or something. It's just a funny moment. Here you go. And it's right there.
It's also 4 a.m. Like the Lunesta hasn't even worn off. I still have NyQuil PM pulsing through my veins. I'm like, this is going to go real Roseanne real fast. Every time I walk out of Howard Stern, I'm like, that went well. Then someone gives me my phone. It's like 47 missed calls, like from my publicist being like, why did you sit on a vibrator saddle?
Oh yeah, why did you sit on the
that's the old Howard though. Now it's long form interviews, right? But yeah,
that's true. But to get back to the Stoicism thing, Dana, are you into Stoicism?
Well, I think it's a good thing if you can do it, not worry about things you can't control.
And these were the Greeks like 1,000 years ago, right?
A Roman emperor, Marcello, wrote a book called Meditations, which had a lot of it was a diary to himself, but it was discussing philosophy of life and nature and everything. And part of it, the core thing is, don't make problems where they don't exist. You go to a therapist about that, being neurotic. And if it is a problem you can't solve, don't worry about it. If you can not worry, if you can go through life at peace and not worrying about things you can't control, that's a good thing. But that's the limit of my knowledge, Whitney. Go ahead.
I just, as a general rule, I tend to not take advice from 1,000 year ago Romans.
Yeah.
As a general rule, I try to not
2,000 years.
Whatever. I try to not take advice.
That guy was a middle.
From men that just had sex with kids. Like, I don't know. It's this new thing where everyone's like, you know what the Romans said? I'm like, I feel like their judgment was a little off. I don't know.
Probably.
They lived to be 24.
They lived in like castles and wore dresses and sandals. Like, how hard was their life? Like, I just don't know if 2,000 years ago wisdom applies to like, are we addicted to social media?
Right. What did he say about that?
What would Jerry say?
No, what did the Roman guy?
Oh, the Roman guy.
I like that Jerry's not self-indulgent. Like, he's like, it's not my job to care.
Right.
It's like,
he says, sorry to interrupt you. I'll keep doing it. But he says about stand-up, because I said, we're doing a special. And then I hate throwing everything away. I don't even want to throw everything away. I love it so much. He's like, don't throw it away. You don't have enough good stuff. Like, everyone thinks they have a great new hour. He goes, you don't. Your first hour is great. And then it just gets watered down. And they keep churning them out. It is hard to do it because you want to percolate with that stuff and let it marinate for years before you go, this one is fucking tight. And then you go do it and they go, okay, throw it in the garbage.
I have a question for you two. Has doing the podcast changed the way you perform stand-up? Because sometimes I feel like this pressure to be more conversational. because you know what I mean? And like, will I come off corny if I come out with jokes for a bunch of people that have heard me having like more casual conversations? Does it ever affect you?
Oh, I see.
I would think that it did affect me in a way. If I'm in a small room, I don't know about if it's a big casino or something, all the noise, but I would even call it podcast stand-up. In other words, sometimes I wrote a bit about the world's first sociopath. To say it's like a little story. I say, this bit has never worked. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go through it again and tell you the parts you hated. And they love that. And it's kind of podcasty, put it that way.
I love that. Do you find that since you've been podcasting, people are more interactive in the audience? I'm trying to figure out if it's from crowd work clips, if we've trained them. I don't mind hecklers.
Did you see the giant, sorry to interrupt, but I like to do it. The huge article in the New York Times or Wall Street Journal about the crowd work becoming the thing, even with comedians who could write an hour. What's better than me hatching a bit with crowd work? So when we came along, that was considered hacky to lean on it, to be a crowd work guy. Easiest thing in the world. Where are you from? Why is your wife a whore? Boom, So it is there's a movement now. I mean, you're aware of that, right? With younger stand-ups.
Yeah. I did not read the New York Times article about it. I don't pay for my news. Dude, I am very up to date with the news as long as it's free. Like, I realized about myself, TikTok. The news can literally be like, are we going to war with Russia? I'm like, oh my, are we? And it's like $2.
Yeah. $2 to hear that.
For
I always tell people
of the New York Times, no thanks.
Whitney, what reason I do it is because I always tell anyone who has an opinion about anything, immediately read the opposite. Immediately read the opposite. Don't just if you're worried about climate change, go read the Wall Street Journal or go on Fox News. If you're not, then go. So I like the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times are Coke and Pepsi of left and right. And it's $100 a year for a thing. And I just peruse their editorials. This is it. Because I want to know what they think.
New York Times is just a gay blog at this point, right? Isn't it just like a pride parade pamphlet? I'm not really clear on what it even is. I mean, dude, the New York Times is like, I stopped following them on Twitter because they'll juxtapose the most horrendous news with like new twist on avocado toast. And then the next tweet will be like 700 children blown up in Gaza. I'm like, Jesus, guys. Like,
I know.
It's a little hard.
Well, do you ever find yourself reading comments after an editorial? And that's where you get a sense of the zeitgeist of the newspaper. But if you read comments in the New York Times about the Trump and Biden, it'll be like, Trump is more crazy. He can't put two words together and he falls down. That's almost 300 comments saying, no, that's the guy. And then you go on Fox News and it's like, Biden can't. So it's very interesting. You can get a quick hit on the American culture.
I'm so much deeper that wherever my algorithm is, Biden's a lizard. And oh no.
Why you give a thumb?
For those of you,
Whitney just got a virtual thumbs up.
Oh, that mean you program it to thumbs up your own jokes?
For those of you listening, you can't see this, but on my Zoom, I'm basically, we all have to be Korean teenagers now, where when I make a gesture, this one is the most embarrassing. If you give 2 thumbs up, it starts.
Wow. Now you have fireworks.
Whitney
That's so
is
great.
Making gestures and then fireworks are coming up. And so for old people, how do we get that on our
I don't know. The reason I was late to the call because I just re-downloaded Zoom. I don't go on Zoom. There was did you not read? There was it was released at the Zoom terms of agreement, which by the way, we never read, which is so funny that we never read any of these.
Anything.
It says you're donating to Russia.
Totally. And it was Zoom. They were using our Zoom calls to train robots. Which I think would be very funny if the robots were a remix of comedians doing podcasts. At least we don't have to worry about them taking over. So
all the robots are doing crowd work now.
Also with Zoom calls and stuff, don't you feel like people are abusing this a little bit? I'll get on a Zoom and I'm like, you guys, this was a text at most.
This was a fucking 1-sentence text.
This was barely an email. Like, what are we doing here?
Would you like us to manage your cookies? That comes up a lot. Would you like us to?
Cookies are your past searches, right?
I think it's how they harvest us and sell us to robots.
I think it's
and make
vagina.
money.
Sick.
Cookies allows them.
Can we get
to
your
record
cookies?
So
Yeah,
I have absolutely, I'm sorry to cut you off. I feel like I'm just not answering your questions and being a good
They're not
guest.
real.
I have.
You're our favorite guest so far. No pressure.
I was actually going to ask you that.
Well, you're bringing a lot of funniness and energy. It was pretty nice.
Dana decided to eat lunch during the podcast.
I know. Are you choking on a Ludens? What's happened?
He's got a Luna bar.
Are you
These are just little tangerines.
Oh,
Cuties?
do you have a paid partnership with Cuties?
No, it's not an ice cream. A cutie's
Hey,
like
Dad.
a little fake ice cream.
I mean,
sandwich.
this is the level of fame, Dana and Spade. You have a paid partnership with Dole Fruit.
Yeah.
Everything about me. This is North Face. Everything about me is paid. These
Yeah.
glasses are. Yeah,
I didn't realize
everything is. Yeah.
Your
What are you?
pod sponsor is Chiquita Banana.
Are you in a second grade classroom or
Yeah,
something?
Jesus, teacher.
Are you like a?
I wish you could see this. She's got.
Sorry, I'm not in
tchotchkes.
Anne Frank's basement. And
Spade.
No,
I don't know
that's
what
you.
Spade, what is that? Is that a sound booth?
That's a skateboard. I had shit behind me, but there was photos of things and it just always too distracting. So it was either have too much like you or Bobby Lee, where it's like so many bobbleheads and stuff, or you have something plain. So everyone just looks at me. And that's why I thought I won that round.
You know what? A lot of people don't know a lot about you, Spade. You skateboarded for real?
No, I know how to skateboard. And so I was a skater from 8 years old to until now, but I was pretty good at it in the pools and ramps to kill time because I couldn't play football in high school. So I was a skater.
Do you know I'm dating a pro skateboarder?
Oh, I know your buddy. Yeah, I see him. I saw him at the improv with you the other night.
Yeah. And
but he's better than me. Yes.
He's a professional skateboarder.
And it's very hard.
And
Does he?
does.
Wow.
He forced me to watch Joe Dirt, which I had never seen before.
Oh, well, I don't know if forced is the word you're looking for.
It was, I called Ronan Farrow after. I marched. I put on a pussy hat and marched.
Okay, so you're famous and you're out there and you're Whitney. So how do you meet a guy like that? Were you at a skate park or I'm just curious?
Yeah.
I was on Instagram. He DM'd me on Instagram, slid into the DM.
Yeah.
And I responded. Yep. And
do you exchange pictures?
There's literally
at that
no
point?
other way to meet people.
He knows how you look because there's all my YouTube videos and specials. So did you want a picture of him?
Yeah, and then I looked at his, and I don't really know the skateboarding world, but what I will say is that skateboarding, the trajectory and the stand-up trajectory are very similar. Like I literally started doing stand-up in parking lots. You do it on your own with a bunch of weirdo. It's like skating's kind of the same. Skating is physical injury. Like stand-up, I guess, is more like emotional injury. I also didn't know about skateboarding. You get paid like nothing unless you're like the guy. And so it's we actually had a lot in common from that, but I didn't know anything about skateboarding. I do prefer men who have CTE. I don't like men that remember what I said yesterday because I'm such a hypocrite. So I was like, this could work. But I didn't know he was like successful at it. And so I was like, congrats. Like, this is so cool that you're like trying to do this. It's like seeing an older man with braces. You're like, good job. Like, it's so cool. And then I found out he's like pretty good at it,
Well, Tony Hawk was on and he'd go, I broke this 5 times, his shoulder. I broke the clavicle 3 times. It was almost like a badge of honor. How's your guy doing?
Yeah, no, he's a disaster. It's the first time I've ever had to be on top. It's a nightmare. No, it's
I got a new hour. We're recording this.
He comes home for a honey. How was your kickflip?
Of all the athletes, though, I dated a rock climber. That's even worse because rock climbers, they can't get their fingers wet. That's not a joke.
Is that true?
Because they'll die. They'll die. They'll slide off the mountain.
Yeah, I think that's why he was dating an older woman. I don't know. But the point is that dating athletes, I've never been a fan of because they're so competitive, like about every little thing. And like, you can't be like, oh, take a left here. And he's like, I think it's a right. I'm like, I think it's a left. And he's like, oh, it is a left. But then I'll be like, it should have been a right. Because technically if the freeway, like it should, like he can't lose an argument. He can't, like
sounds
the way
like a keeper.
We're both very petty. So we get along great.
Nice.
But he loves Joe Dirt. He made me watch Joe Dirt. I had never seen it before. Is that weird?
You haven't gotten to a compliment yet, but I'll wait.
That's a little weird. It's a classic, I would say, of the 90s
She's
comedies.
like, it is a movie. I watched it. It was a movie that you were in. What else is there to say? I don't know.
But watching it now for the first time is wild.
It's not really a girl movie. Go ahead.
Because you're seeing David in his.
I was nice in it.
You and I are like real friends, and I was like, if this is such an iconic thing, what if I become a fan of and like ruin our friendship? What if I'm like, hey, can I get a picture? Wouldn't that be weird if I all of a sudden became like a creepy fan of yours? Like,
yeah, we don't want that.
You know what I mean? But are you glad that I love you for you and I'm friends with you?
You know, there's a lot of people that I see that don't know really anything because no one always watches everything like we've talked about. So I did see your shows, Whitney, and I had seen Too Broke. We call it Too Broke. We do.
Okay.
What did you call it? TB?
Are you busy? Are you busy? Too busy to finish it?
Yeah. Do you call it TB?
Did you smile? What was the look on your face when you brought up Two Broke Girls? Because
you just lit up.
That was weird, wasn't it? I had like a very bizarre like Bell's palsy.
Well, what are you like 25 and you make up a show and it does 140 episodes? I mean, I think you're kind of I don't know. You work hard. Looking at your
very smart girl.
Thank you.
You keep going. I don't know. I mean, so you got books. You got. Oh, by the way, it's still called. Your podcast is called Good for You.
Thank you. Yes,
we just wanted to promote that.
I've done it.
I appreciate it. You
Super
guys.
fun.
Well, no, my podcast is doing well, but then people like you decided to start podcasts, and now none of us are doing well. They're like we were doing great.
We got a lot of competition too. We got fucking Ted Danson. You know that dick.
Oh,
has a podcast.
Why? Why? No, I'm not trying to be mean, but why?
He did it with Woody. I think they talk. Do they talk? It's not only about Cheers. It's about Cheers and another bar.
Yeah, I have to make sure that people knew I was joking. He's an incredibly sweet guy.
He's on our show next week. Yeah,
he's coming out.
Anyone,
a lot of people are doing it. Put it.
Anyone that can outrun blackface. They're meant to be. They're cemented. The guy can literally do no wrong.
But wait a minute. Do you think Whoopi was who kind of egged him on and probably put the stuff on Ted? Do you think she was secretly kind of smiling to herself? As he approached
never leave
the
me
podium?
Now? Yeah. Maybe. Do you think she applied it? I mean, that's my main thing with blackface. I'm like, let's talk about the person that applied it up to the waterline. I mean, like,
the waterline.
Justin Trudeau's blackface, it's on his hand. I mean, that must have taken 7 hours. It was like the X-Men makeup artist must have done it. I mean, that's what it really gets.
I never found it funny, and I never was ever gonna have someone put me in blackface because I remember watching Al Jolson as a kid, those 1930s Shirley Temple movies. And it was like, this is not right. And I'm like 10 years old. I just go, I don't like it.
When people ask me, they're always like, so is the Hollywood business, is it a perverted place? I'm like, let's just put it this way. It was built on the back of a 4-year-old toddler named Shirley Temple, who was twerking on grown men at war. She was always like at war, like on a ship with a bunch of sailors. There was no mom, no babysitter in sight, no mom. She was just adopted by a bunch of old men.
No intimacy coordinator.
Judy Garland, who I did a sitcom.
Dude, remember her movie, The Finger Blast Lollipop, or whatever that song was?
Weird movie. We know how to make movies. When Shirley Temple is in a movie at 4, that means she was cast at like 3.5. She was having wardrobe fittings at 3.
She got an agent at 2.
Yeah. Headshots at 1.
She had a nose job in utero. Anyway, I
cold reading class.
Okay, nose job in utero.
I like that.
Mic drop. We're done. That's it. Okay, we can move on now. Whitney 15. Dana and David 3.
I never answered about the crowd work thing. So look, I think it's cool that we're moving a little bit like on social media more towards things that are easier to make. I just look at it as that opportunity to go, okay, we can do something harder than that. Crowd work is a thing that you are supposed to just get as a, fun surprise at a live show. But like to blow all of your written stand-up on clips, that was hard for us too, So it's like, if we can just go out and put crowd work on here, and not blow the material we would put in a special. Maybe this is a good way to feed the beast of social media.
Started trouble.
Yes. You have to have content. If you're really in this business, you have to have something in the slipstream almost daily, every other day. I met many grumpy old men when I was coming up. You know, it ain't like it used to be. So I promised myself I wouldn't be someone going, well, that's not real comedy. So it's the way it is now in less than a minute, that this new art form called clips. And I find it really kind of fun. And we have people clip it together and they put little cartoons on it. So it's like, it's actually a cool new art form and people love it.
And it's kind of like, you know, I think it's cool to let people know, like, yes, we write our jokes, but also look how funny we are extemporaneously. And if you do come to a show, you'll get a chance to talk to us. Like, you know, although the funny side effect to me is that like everyone in the first like 3 rows is dressed now like they're going to get in a clip. And it's like the first 3 rows, the bitches just have like hats and like cowboy. Everyone's just like ready to be on camera. Like,
like also make fun of me. Yeah,
exactly. And they're kind of just like, do you want to make fun of my tits? And I'm just like, do I have
to? You want to squeeze it?
Yeah. So I feel like people are kind of like ready to be on camera at all times, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Which is fine too. Why not?
Your podcast has clips that are funny. And so you're funny on those. And then, which we do those podcast ones too. And then you are doing clips from your stand-up. So when people come see you do stand-up, it's funny because in their mind, you better be funny on your podcast. You better be funny in crowd work. Because I had someone go, I thought your show was great, but I did see a bit you did on Ellen a couple years ago. I'm like, how much? What is it? Can I not? I have to do 15 minutes on Ellen every 3 weeks. It's like,
also,
I have to have some repeat business.
Which is so annoying because like, musicians, it's like play the hits,
yeah,
you know? And we're just like, Jesus, you know, that is really frustrating. That is my worst nightmare, that I remix something.
It's the exact opposite. You're like Journey, they fucking did Don't Stop Believing. I almost walked out.
Yeah, I had a guy tell me once, maybe you guys have had this after a show years ago, he goes, no matter how many times I hear those jokes, they're still funny to me. You know, and you're like, I need some new material.
Oh, no, I'm obsessed with the backhanded compliments you get when you walk off stage. Like that people genuinely think they're saying something nice. Like when you get off stage and someone's like, you know, you're too smart for them. Yeah. You're just too smart for them. They're just right over
this
their
crowd.
Head. They'd fuck this crowd. I'm like, I thought I did well.
Yeah.
It's like when I come off stage and someone's like, you are such a good writer. Like, what?
Funny.
Yeah. Like,
what? Quitting stand-up and going back to just writing?
Or like, I get a lot of like, you know what I love about you? You don't even care what you wear. Like, you don't even care.
You don't care how you look.
You're just so authentic. Like, you don't care what you look. I'm like, I tried very hard for this.
Do you still want to do meet and greets, or who are these people? Are they crew members off to the side?
My manager. Do you guys do meet and greets when you tour?
I haven't in a while.
If they wanted, I'm playing a casino this weekend.
8
shows.
I assume the tribal elders will come in with blue eyes and blonde hair and a little feather and go.
I love playing casinos, dude, because you know that on native land, there's no police.
There's no police. You're not really the show. It's half papered. The casino doesn't want you to go too long. Get them at the table. So, you know.
Oh, last time I did a casino, I don't remember where it was. I don't want to, get in trouble with the native community by right. Up a silly name, but we already did that with the Sandler movie, Ridiculous Six, Spade. And so I am at this casino. There's a guy in the lobby. When I tell you bleeding from the head, just bleeding from the head, insert scalped joke here. And I was like, oh, we need to call the police there. David Spade is literally yawning, you guys, just FYI for the people listening.
No, I know where this is going.
I just gave him mono with my story. And I was like, we have to get the police. And the police are appointed by the elders. It's like they're friends that need a job.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. That's it.
It's their entourage.
I like casinos. There's something fun about being in a venue where everyone else is making worse decisions than you. You know what I mean? Like, it's nice to be like, okay.
These are like memes. I need a minute to process that.
I love casinos. I always have my tour, and then there's always casinos peppered in. They just throw you in. You're like, it's a little out of your way, but it's worth it. You go out there, and they're usually pretty good. The last
they can be really good unless it's Vegas in July and it's 121. outside and they've been by the pool all day, and
Hmm.
either they're drunk or they're literally almost asleep. That's kind of rough.
I love the science of casinos. One of my favorite things to satisfy my, I like to think, pretty high functioning autism is the carpets in casinos and in the casino hotels. You know,
Right.
they're specifically designed to disguise like blood and shit and puke. So the patterns are always just like red splatters. Like, look at it next
Wow,
time. It's kind of fascinating.
Red
did
splatter.
not know that. I do like the no clocks and it's all dark. And there's something about people at a slot machine with a free drink. That seems like one of the most decadent things you can do. And it's 10 a.m. and they're just going to have free drinks all day and pull slots.
It's so wild. And then the brand, there's like a Sex in the City slot machine, and you're just kind of like, I love that someone at HBO was like, you know what we need this season? Like, who is putting all these together? Like, it's a fascinating business model to me. And I also find it fascinating because there's always so much more security at casinos. Like, do you ever notice, like, I feel like I go to casinos, I feel like more glamorous for some reason. I don't know why. Like, when you're just doing venues, they're like, hey, what's up? Like, they don't, sound check.
Yeah.
Like, they don't, whereas like, because I mean, maybe it's because the people that are working at those venues want to be comics, or, Ludacris was there the night before and you're just some, idiot from Premium Blend or whatever. But like, I noticed this recently. Do you guys notice this, that like when you're known or famous or whatever, that everyone always thinks you're going to fall? Like, when I walk to the stage, the number of people who hover around me to make sure I don't fall, I'm like,
yeah.
Are you in heels? What do you wear?
Just sneakers. Like, I just mean like security
Skechers
and stuff. Like,
yeah.
It's just funny when you finally get like successful or something and you're like, oh, no one respects me. Like, I thought it would make people think I was competent. And everyone's like, can I help you down the stairs? And you're like, no, I think I got it. Like, what is
it's going to be about a 6-foot walk. You got it. You're going to go straight out. And then the stage ends at some point. So don't walk off the end.
Is there stuff? Do I come off dumb? Like, do I come off like I get lost a lot? Like,
I think it's more fake reasons to talk to you and grab you because you're cute.
Oh, I'm too stupid.
No, you're cute, and they just want to talk. A reason to talk to you.
But when they like hover around, like, like Matt Rife, I'm like, he's 25 years old. He's got it. Like 80-year-old.
He just did the pommel
guard.
horse backstage. He's fine.
but and then so what are you guys going to tour together?
No plans.
No plans.
You hate money, huh?
Well, no, usually
that's what our manager says.
When you do the math,
you guys hate money.
Group shows would be great for you. 5 of you go out together. And then you do the math of the door, and I don't know how much it's value added. I probably just ski in the Wake of Spades crowd.
Can we do it?
The
We Love Money tour, us 3. We'll go in the car from Joe Dirt. I just found out it was for sale.
It was bought already.
Spade didn't buy it. The car from Joe Dirt was for sale, and Spade did not buy it. What is money for?
It was $330,000.
You make
like
that
she said. Why didn't you buy it?
It's your bar tab.
You make that with one Crunchy Leaf post.
No, I actually talked to the guy about buying it beforehand, and then I thought I would have it here, but not many people could see it because I don't have like a used car lot. You can't, I just have a garage, and it's just, I love that car. I fucking love it. And the guy that bought it is cool. He has a huge Joe Dirt tattoo on his chest, and he loves the movie. And
it's fascinating, the people that have that stuff. I remember when we did Roseanne, the reboot, I did the first season back, and there was a guy that collected, stuff from TV shows, and he had the Roseanne couch. The fact that they sold it is wild, right? Should have been the Smithsonian or something. And we asked if we could just use it, like we'll rent it, whatever. And he said no.
Oh, right. To have Roseanne use it again, which makes it worth more again.
Yeah. He just said no, like no amount of money I will not give this to you guys to shoot for the reboot of the show. It was just
Jesus.
I know, like my strange addiction to it. Like, I buy stuff from TV shows and don't let anyone touch it. I don't know.
Do you steal wardrobe and stuff like that?
That's the real question.
Because we had John Corbett on Sex and the City and Big Greek Wedding. Anyway, so at the end of a shoot, he just goes to the wardrobe place and just doesn't talk to anyone or ask anyone. And he just takes it all, and he has it in boxes up in Northern California. He has like hundreds of underwear and socks and shoes. And he took the moose from Northern Exposure sitcom. It was a big hit, and he just took it. He doesn't ask. He just harvests sets and things.
Am I allowed to gossip?
What's that? Yeah, go ahead.
I heard that Mariah Carey on some movie she did, like she did a cameo in some Will Ferrell movie, House Money, maybe it was called, and they gave her this like $300,000 necklace to wear, and she just like wore it home. I mean, like just psycho. Like only
I like that.
I never do that because I don't want someone to get fired or get in trouble. But also, they need to keep it in case you have to do reshoots. They would need it for continuity. As a producer and writer,
yeah, I know that's the other side of it.
Yeah, because
you're on the other side.
Now it's turned into everyone sees what's happening in LA at Walgreens. Everyone just steals everything at Macy's. So they just go into wardrobe and go, you can't do anything. And they just take all their wardrobe and leave. And they go, don't chase them. Don't chase John Corbett.
You must have such iconic stuff that you just think is like trash in a storage unit, but is like worth $1 billion on eBay.
I do have the church lady dress and glasses and a wig.
That was a wig?
It's in one of my homes. Anyway, in a closet.
Can't remember which one.
It's in West Hollywood right now. Because I technically, when I got on Saturday Night Live, the rules changed afterwards because I came in with the character that I own it. So I just had that made for, when I really, really am down and out, I'll do corporate gigs as the church lady, full regalia. Coming out, firing hard.
Do you have it like in plastic or something? Like
it's the dress is hung up. It looks fine, and
Can we do like an Instagram? The only way that anyone will socialize with their own friends these days is to monetize it somehow. So can I come to your house? We'll shoot it. Don't worry. And we can do like closet organizing of all your like iconic things that you have.
Well, that's my biggest.
I don't think there's that much stuff. I only have Dickie Roberts wardrobes, the shorts from Grown Ups, the shirt from Grown Ups, bench warmers stuff, and
are you reading that off a laptop?
And I'm thinking the wig from Joe Dirt.
Is that on your post-it note? That like,
why did I look to the side? That's
it looked like you were reading it off. Like it looked
like an assistant off the side was holding outfits to show you.
I think in the old days, like Debbie Reynolds or Ann Miller or those Donald O'Connor musicals, they would have so much stuff,
They sell it now and it's big biz. They go back and just get all the stuff from those prop houses and they sell it all, and it makes a killing.
I like those Architectural Digest house tours of those like super out of touch rich people being like, yeah, and we just picked this up in France, and have you seen the Architectural Digest tours?
Seen a lot of shows like that. Yeah.
It'd be fun to do some in your house.
These are the heads from Easter Island.
That one, and then what is the other? Oh, I did Punk'd recently, and not Punk'd. Sorry, I did Punk'd. That was my first job. I'm sorry, I know.
Punks.
I did what is it? Cribs, MTV Cribs.
Okay.
And I watched Martha Stewart. You've got to watch it. It's amazing because she so clearly does not want them in her house, and she cannot pretend to be chill in the slightest, and they're at her like 7th home in Nantucket or something, and they just left it all in, but she's like, okay, and so this is what I got when I went into Italy. Excuse me, sir, can you back up off the wall, please? Yeah, can you just back up? Like,
put the charcuterie board down,
and they left
please.
it all in. Fantastic.
It's so funny. Like, you're gonna need to take your shoes off. You're gonna need to take your shoes off. And this vase I actually got when I was in Tuscany, and I'm gonna need you to put the footies on. Put the footies on, please. Thanks. Like, and they just left it all in. It's incredible.
Do you want us to ask you questions?
Oh,
I was kind of curious about whether, there's things you've been asked a lot. Okay, you could go like, I grew up with Joan Rivers, Phyllis Diller, Toady Fields, and then you come out and you were a model at a department store. So was that helpful in the beginning? Like, you should, or were your looks kind of problematic or an asset in your mind?
That's so nice. I mean, model in a department store is not, we're not Naomi Campbell over here. This was like King of Prussia Mall
the Met
in Philadelphia. Yeah.
But Tony Fields,
You worked
Tony
at Lady
Fields
Foot Locker putting shoes
had
on.
one leg. She had diabetes. She came out with one leg, and she was really. There were some very funny looking comedians, and when I was growing up,
I used to model the masks in Spencer's Gifts.
Mhm.
I was an informal model, it was called. So the super
Okay.
annoying people that like offer you perfume when you walk into a department store, like, hey, want a migraine? I can help you with that. Or, you're just like walking around in a wedding dress. Like I was like 14 years old, walking around in a wedding dress. Like I did maternity at 15 years old. They give you like a pillow that's strapped, and I'm just like walking around. And asking people like, hey, do you want to go see some wedding dresses on the third floor? And you would just all to women that were going through a divorce. Like no one goes to a fancy department store who has a happy marriage. So I'm just like, hey, want to go see a wedding dress? Like as your marriage falls apart. And it was actually, I was doing it for money. And it actually, I look back now and I'm like, it was before I had boobs. Hooters didn't take me. And I realized like so much of the ability to just talk to strangers came from that, because I had to walk up to strangers that wanted nothing to do with me, that quite frankly wanted me to be invisible and were like trying to get away from me. And I was like, hey, want to go and I'd have to charm them and figure out a way to get them to listen to me so that I didn't get fired. But I think that did actually come in really handy. Also just the ability to be alone a lot. I mean, I think something that a lot of people maybe don't know, because, we only post the greatest hits on our Instagram of how fun our life is. But being a comic, you're just like alone a lot. We're in hotels alone. We're, even when we're with a lot of people, we feel alone.
I spent 36 hours in a hotel in Houston a couple weeks ago because it was so crazy, rainy, stormy outside. I actually just walked around the hallway, but you go a little crazy just in a hotel room for a day and a half.
Plus, everyone knows you. So the second you go out, people go, hey. But
we're
I do a lot of.
For that. Sorry, Space.
No, I guess you're the guest.
No, my podcast doesn't do as well as yours. Go ahead.
Okay.
We'll check the numbers. You're probably you're probably closer than you think.
You've done 5,000 of them. It's hard to keep it balls in the air for a million times. You ultimately run out of. I would think at a certain point.
You guys did something really genius, though. You guys were like, we're only going to interview SNL people, and then we'll just do comedians. Like, I think for me, I just didn't believe that a woman talking for 2 hours was a viable business. It just didn't seem like that was something anyone wanted to hear. And so I think I always had like just all kinds of different guests to see what worked, and if we live here in Hollywood, why not get Hollywood guests? So it's like Hillary Duff and Miranda Cosgrove, like those numbers did super big, but then some comics that are huge didn't do so well. But it's just like hard to tell who's going to do well.
It depends who your crowd is. Yeah. We have people that surprisingly do well and surprisingly don't. And but I also like the randomness of yours, because you can just see someone that's interesting, like a Terminex guy, and go, I bet I could talk to this guy because something interesting about this. And then you can have a big star, so you can mix it all up and then just cover anything that interests you. We had a UFO guy on our other one. We have one on video called Superfly. We had a UFO guy on, and then we had this girl that was in that Nixium cult. And
yeah, she's my friend. Sarah's my friend. I was in the second season of that show.
Oh, were you in a basement?
I got obsessed.
Was Keith your guy? Is he a skateboarder?
Do you have a? Are you branded? Are you branded? KR?
No, I would love to be in a cult, though. I just need someone to organize my life. I did try to get into Scientology when I first moved here, and they rejected me.
Right.
Really?
They reject people?
Swear to God. Okay.
Did they give you a reason?
I think
Too chatty?
That's it. They're like, this bitch cannot keep a secret. Like, it's so obvious that I'm a squeaky wheel, if nothing else. I have such snitch energy. A girlfriend of mine, Jennifer Goodwin, was my first friend in LA. She had just done a movie called Mona Lisa Smile, long time ago, with Julia Roberts. And remember when, if someone got the number 2 or 3 lead in a movie, they were going to be a star. There was this machine. They got the publicist and they got it was just, so Scientology would figure out who like the next person was going to be to like get it on the ground floor. Right.
Ooh.
So a famous Scientologist invited her to brunch. And it was at like a house. It was just an address. It wasn't like Shakey's Diner or whatever, And we pull up, I go with her, and it is a hassle. I think people don't understand that hate on Scientology. it's in a castle. And when you grow up poor and you see a fucking castle, you're like, I need to live there. I don't care. You take my plasma. I don't care. Fine. And so I was like, yes, I'd like to live in this castle for free. Like, I'm not allowed to take antidepressants. I don't have healthcare. Fine. And so we went in, there was this like amazing brunch. And also the reason Scientology is so freaking enticing is the beginning of it isn't that weird. It's like how to take control of your life and like write thank you notes and like, you know, it's all like beginner AA stuff. I'm in a 12-step program now. So it's a lot of like, it works if you work it. Like, don't, you know, make a permanent decision based on temporary feelings. It's stuff that like, I'm sure the Stoics said this all much better. But
we'll ask
Jerry.
But you know, but that's the serenity prayer is basically Stoics. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Right, you know, and the wisdom to change the things that I can't. So I'm in, dude. I'm like, I get an apartment, I get a job. The brunch had chocolate pudding. Like the guy from Lost was there. The Jorge. I'm like, if this guy can get on a TV show, like I'm in. And they just were not interested. And I tried to go back and they were like, we're good, basically.
A cute young writer actress from a great college. I can't believe it. What are they looking for?
They didn't want my after scale money from MTV. They wanted, you know, studio movie money.
You tell them you might do Cribs soon?
What's that?
You said I can get us on Cribs. I know a guy over there.
Yeah, so I did not get in. I'm glad that I didn't get in. I have some weird obsession with it. I had to stop smoking weed like a year and a half ago because I would get the first thing I would do when I smoked weed was Google the Scientology ships or try to figure out where they were. And I scheduled a call. There's
there's ships. Yeah, they have their navy basically. Yeah.
What?
They're in international waters. The sea where there's no rules. It's crazier than the casinos with no police officers. They're out there and they operate under maritime law, international waters. There's no drinking age. There's no age of consent. None of it. I scheduled a Zoom call with a maritime lawyer to talk about it.
How are their carpets? What do they look like?
Wow. Did you, when you took DMT, did you see sentient entities?
Sentienties?
What's DMT? I don't know if I've taken that one. Dave, did you put that in my drink one night?
Yeah.
At Roku?
I have some in the car at Roku.
Well, what was your experience with psychedelics, and do you do them anymore? This is from Toledo, Ohio, a fan. Can you ask one?
Okay. I haven't done DMT. I am good friends with Joe Rogan, and everyone assumes that I like, you know, go to Peru every weekend and like puke up like ayahuasca. I've done ayahuasca once after my dad died. The first night I was like such a comedian about it. I was like, this is bullshit. It's all power of suggestion. It was like some shirtless guy like dancing in front of me. It was like the worst Chippendales performance I've ever witnessed.
There?
Yeah.
It was just Bobby Lee dancing
Bobby
with like
Lee
flowers.
is wiener out.
It was a nightmare. And so the first one, not a fan. And then I puked, which was like I did this in my entire high school. I don't need to do bulimia again in my 30s. Like, so I finally want to keep food down, guys. This is not my brand at the moment. And the next night I actually had like just some clear thoughts. I didn't see gremlins or angels or any of that, or Grateful Dead bears or any of that shit. I kind of, I like to call it just updated my software on myself a little bit, which was just kind of like, I didn't understand why when I got a TV show and sitcom or whatever it is, I didn't understand why people didn't like me or were mad at me. Cause in my mind, it was like, you know, this was at this time. I mean, you had a show, obviously, Spade, you know, Dana, you were on a show at the time, but all my friends that were comics were like kind of mad at me or stop. It was just a bizarre time. And in my head, I was like, no, this is great. We're all going to get sitcoms. And, you know, the ships rise with everybody rises together. I don't know what the saying is. I'm sure it's a Stoic fortune cookie saying, but I felt like all these people that I was friends with and family with were like mad at me or something. And then I realized like, oh, I have such a scarcity complex too. We all do, that if that was happening to someone else, I'm sure that I would be a little petulant and jealous. And I was just able to stop being mad at people and just accept like,
it's the way it is.
How I'm perceived sometimes, which by the way, Spade gave me some of the best piece of advice between seasons of a sitcom when both of us were waiting to hear about the fate of our sitcoms. You called me, remember? And you went, so just FYI, bad news travels slow.
That is true. In this town, everyone wants to give you good news, and you got to You got to chase down the bad news. No one wants to be associated with it.
And it made me realize, like, look, comics, like the reason I love comics so much is because we're able to criticize everything together and see the world in the same way, you know? And then when I became the subject of their criticism, it was like, oh shit. The thing that my only love sprung from my only hate kind of thing. So I was able to just go like, yeah, this will be over soon and someone else will, be the next person, and it feels temporary.
That is part of stoicism. That's the other part, is all your enemies, all your things, everything is going to disappear. Everything really fast. It just keeps moving. So don't sit in it. I never made a joke about you. I never would think to.
Oh, I was like a punchline on SNL a couple times, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you get too famous. You're show running 2 shows. It sort of puts you at the forefront, and then, but too young.
Like when you're like, oh my God, you're like SNL, like this is like the dream, and they're making fun of, like, that's not how I wanted to be on SNL, like Tina Fey making fun of me, or that's not how I wanted to be on South Park. Like they made fun of me on South Park and recently on Big Mouth. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Fine. I pay my bills doing comedy. Like,
people say it's the highest form of flattery, and then you're like, but it kind of isn't.
Oh no, I had to go on Prozac as a result.
It is hard. It's hard to hear that kind of shit.
But it's like, if I'm going to give it, I have to also be able to take it. And, but I had some good breakthroughs on that, of like, to be able to separate myself from like the self that everyone else perceives. I think when you guys know more than anyone, like, it's public figures. Do you ever have to go like, that's David Spade, that's Dana Carvey, but I can like separate.
Yeah. And that was from the ayahuasca that got you into that frame of mind.
I just wasn't mad at everyone for wanting what I had. Because I was like, I wanted what other people had too, and there was such a scarcity complex at the time. It was before social media. It was before podcasts, we're all now working together. We're all just like a team at this point. We used to be like, is the executive going to pick me or her? And we had to be in competition. And now it's like, we're all going to work together. So it was just during that like icky time. That helped me. I've never done DMT. I don't think I think that's Molly. I did ketamine. I did ketamine microdosing with a doctor, not just like street ketamine. During the pandemic, my hair was blue shortly thereafter. So rave reviews. It helped me with some grief stuff. It helped with instant grief and forgiveness stuff. I did it, for like a couple months on and off microdosing, and it definitely helped a lot with grief because I couldn't really cry before that. I was told don't cry, big girls don't cry. My mom, I'm not a doctor. I don't like when people diagnose people without a medical license, but I was told borderline personality disorder, alcoholic. So she was very histrionic. If you ever needed anything, if I ever was upset, she took it personally, like she was a bad mom. So I had to take on her feelings if I ever had any feelings. So it really helped me like release a lot of old pain.
Wow. And now you're a mom.
Yeah. Can someone get a punchline in there?
No, you did good. You can talk. We can talk normal sometimes.
Oh no, people love this. Yeah, humans out there listening right now. Oh yeah, no, that's just under the heading of very interesting, of someone doing psychedelics a little bit and having. We had Neil Brennan on, who's it changed his life. His whole special was about it, how it took away his depression by and large and his anxiety between ayahuasca and MDMA.
I guess I didn't realize that pain turns into anger, and I had a lot of just pain. Everyone's got their shit. Both my parents had strokes during the time that I had the sitcoms and stuff, which, I think nobody really knew. Who cares? But both my parents had strokes without health insurance, and they were paralyzed basically from the neck down, both of them, and were in beds for like 10 years. So I just had to it's fine. I just had to live in nursing homes and like hospitals and ICUs and stuff. So I was on the road. I'd go from like show to hospital to show to hospital. And I guess I was just like, I didn't realize till after they passed, like how angry I was about all that. And I needed to cry instead of because when you're on stage, sometimes the anger comes out, or what you're writing, or, it comes out when you least expect it. And I think angry comedy, no one really wants to see. And it's also an awful feeling. And I was writing from the angle of that. And ketamine just helped it. Like I was in therapy. I don't know if it works if you're not with a therapist who's walking you through it all. But I did that plus EMDR, plus I'm in a 12-step program called Al-Anon. Because ultimately, like, acceptance is my hardest thing. I can't accept it. I can't accept that that's the truth. I can't accept that this is happening. And I'm going to give myself cancer being angry about it. And there was just like a surrender that came with it of like, this is how it is. I'm just going to ride the horse in the direction it's going. That's what ketamine did for me. I'm way less elegant than Neil Brennan about all this stuff. So just listen to the Neil Brennan episode for that.
I'm texting Jerry Seinfeld right now.
Yeah, and then listen to the Jerry one.
Can we just talk for? I don't want to go. Go ahead, you talk. Because we met. We had a funny gig together.
Yes, we did. I didn't know if you'd bring this up or not.
Well, I thought it'd be fun because it's just. I'll tell my side real quick, and then I want to hear from your point of view. So there was a really rich guy. I guess he's 95. He's got this gigantic mansion in Las Vegas. And they hired me. Will you come do a half-hour stand-up for the party? His wife was much younger. They're very sweet people. And so I show up and it's like Scarface or something. There's mermaids in the pool and jugglers, and it's like a Fellini-esque circus. And I'm in a waiting room. Again, incredibly nice people.
Did you say in a waiting room?
Well, it was part of another house.
It was a bedroom.
It was a giant bedroom. We're waiting for Whitney. Okay, Whitney's supposedly she's gonna go on, and then I'm gonna go on. We don't know where she is. And it was like she's getting here soon. So then you came in, lots of energy, and you can tell your side of it, and then you change very, very quickly. We go out. It's a big pavilion. It's like 150 people. You can't really hear, and you're up there, and I see you're working. I wanted to know what the vibe was. So they said, well, put a mask on. Sorry. In the meantime, Joe Rogan showed up. Sorry, I missed that part.
We were together. Yeah.
Yeah, you came in first. He was right after you. So Joe Rogan's there. So he's not wearing a mask. No one's wearing a mask. This tail end of the pandemic, whatever. So I go, I want to get up close so I can see how Whitney's doing. I couldn't hear what was going on. They wear this mask. So I'm going up through the crowd they go, so they won't recognize you. You're a surprise. They're right. So I'm going through the crowd with the mask on, and I bump into Joe, and he looks at me and he goes, "Get that thing off your face." And I said, I tried to explain. Well, they told me but anyway, I thought you did great. Because it was such a rough thing that you were bringing people out of the audience on the stage and interviewing them. I thought you did great. It was a rough gig, but nice people. Okay, now from your side, you're flying from Santa Barbara with Joe.
I flew. Okay, so it was Andrew Schultz's wedding, comedian, and I was with Lex Friedman. We're in the podcast space deep right now. So Lex Friedman, who also has a podcast, I brought him as my date. And I was like, okay, I can make this wedding and then fly to, I can make both.
Vegas. Yeah.
Yes. And then Rogan and his wife were at the wedding. And I was like, we have to leave. I have to run to Vegas to go do this corporate gig. And Joe was like, can I come with you? And I love when people get so successful that like something like that is just like interesting to them. It's like when rich people want to go camping. Like, I want to know what it feels like to be poor. And so he's like, oh, let me go see this corporate gig. You know what I mean? And so he comes, he's also just awesome. And like, he just loves stand up and,
oh yeah,
he's
fun to have more people go. Yeah.
And he's fascinated by like comedians, like, we do theaters, we do clubs, like, but a lot of our gigs are like, we've never performed in this space before. The, circumstances are wild. There's no sound check for this.
Private party, basically.
Private gigs you're less, on some level, they're paying you well and respect you and they know you're famous and they love you.
Bob Arum, who's this fight promoter, famous. Yeah. He was on a couch right up front, vaping pot the whole time. I was
Everyone was shit-faced, like, and I just went full into like party clown mode, like the Darwinian, like, all right, you don't want to do it this way. We're gonna do this the easy way or the hard way. And usually at corporate gigs, I think they usually just want to be the star, and fine. You just flirt with the men and lap dance with the women and. I remember going like, I am such a huge fan of Dana Carvey. The fact that this is what he is seeing me do as a performer tonight is so embarrassing.
Well, I felt the same way because Joe was so sweet, big hugs. We're, having a love fest, and he's so excited to see me do stand-up.
He was so excited you were there. He was geeking out.
And I'm like, this is about as rough a situation. No one's fault.
No.
You explained it brilliantly. You have no chance to do anything. So by the time you went off and Joe was there, I went up and it was the same kind of, oh my God, something that would get an applause break is, and they're talking, a lot of talking. These young women are talking, So I looked over because I was thinking, and thank God you guys had left.
Oh,
I don't
hilarious.
know when you left. Yeah,
because Lex
You couldn't
Friedman,
get out, right?
Joe Rogan has told this story, so I don't feel like I'm outing him. But Lex Friedman, who was one of those like high performer types, all these men that just feel like they need to like work out all day to prepare for like no one's drafting them, but they're in training. Like this new where guys
ready
are
for the big one.
Yeah.
They're in ice buckets, and I don't know what's going on. Like, is there no porn left to watch? I don't understand. I don't know, but all these men that are like we need to live forever, but all they do is work out. Like, I don't know, like 4-hour work week, but you like all you do is work till 2 a.m. But whatever, you have 9 podcasts. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's an Adderall thing or what, but Lex Friedman is like, he's a scientist who has a podcast, super like gets up at 5 a.m. to run and do burpees, and he's always in ketosis or some shit. I don't know. And he had been on a fast. He hadn't eaten for like 2 days and had a bunch of whiskey and was like puking in the koi pond at this billionaire's house.
Oh, he was outside on the grounds puking in the koi pond.
Okay. Remember there were
there was so much stuff out there.
Okay, these big fancy mansions are just like booby traps. I don't know if it's just like how, it's illegal for like billionaires to hunt poor people, but maybe they just put the Ring camera on and put some fountains out that are flush with the patio because everyone was falling into the koi pond.
Excellent.
Like you would just be like walking in the dark and just be like in a koi pond. And so I think he had done that and then was maybe puking. So it's like, we need to get out of here. Let's have the check. Send me the Venmo and then we'll see if it clears.
I was happy that you guys got out of town fast.
Like we had to get back, and then there was no plane to take us back.
I remember that
drive back to Vegas. It was like a whole sort of thing.
You had to get a car to drive back.
I remember you telling me that part.
I kind of love those corporate gigs though, because I feel like all of the maybe negative things that happened to us in our childhood, we can sublimate into something positive. Like I was raised by like truculent, distracted alcoholics. So sometimes when I'm in that situation, I'm like, I know what to do here. Like, this is actually where I shine, trying to get,
stay happy and stay positive. That's the first rule of a party. You're there not to bring them down or blame it on them. And I don't do many parties. The corporate dates are a little different in Vegas. They have real sound and everything. But a private party, it was just sort of a fluke. I ended up there. Oh, and Whitney Cummings is opening. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then Joe was there. It was just one of those Fellini-esque moments.
I had to like hang my head in shame and get out of there. Cause it's like, I'm meeting one of my heroes. And then I'm just like, he's going to watch me just do like crowd work and like twerk on.
I couldn't really, after the mask thing, I got back, I took the mask off. I couldn't really hear what was saying because it was boomeranging. The ceiling of this atrium was like 100 feet tall. So it was all
high ceilings kill things. People don't know. High ceilings are the worst.
But I thought
for comedy.
I thought there was something cool about them picking me and you. I was like, there was
a good mix.
They can have whoever they want, ultimately. But I was like, this is so cool. It made me feel very good about myself. And then I promptly
So anyway, I'm sorry
gigs,
that
I was going to say before I let Whitney go, because we've taken over too long, but when I do a corporate gig, you sometimes feel like roughing it because they are paying you. And they try to make it so nice for you. But sometimes if it's a little tough, you go, hey, this is actually, like Whitney, if they don't have your carrot sticks, you go, you know what? I don't care. Let's just go. Let's plow through it.
Oh, can I do this really quick? What's in your rider? Will you read it verbatim?
No fucking chance.
Please.
3 Coca-Colas, Pellegrino. I didn't write it. I mean, I've had people go, we only have 2 towels.
Yeah,
I know. I'm like, what? I know.
2 towels.
Sorry, your ice bath. We couldn't get it on the truck in time, Whitney.
I don't know. Has this gone well? I can't tell.
You did great.
You're one of my favorite guests.
You're fucking hilarious.
Hilarious.
You have 5 jokes in every sentence.
I feel like Spade's already emailing? Like, I feel like Spade is just over here on like doing Facebook updates. Like,
No,
what is...
I'm paid to do an hour, so at 1 hour 01, I just zonk out.
You should have
hang
somebody
up.
listen to this and then type it all out just for how you wove things. Some of your word packages. I don't know
Very
if you've used them before,
well.
but there was a lot of cool stuff in there.
I don't know. I feel like, okay.
Are we reviewing it right now?
I don't know. I feel like we could have lost the skateboarding stuff. Maybe the Joe Dirt stuff didn't, like, I thought that was going to, like, be a little more fun.
A little more potent. No, I thought it was all good and you did a great job. And I guarantee you people will say that. I think
I love like the fact that we used to be judged on like our work. Now it's just a personality audition. I'm like, how was my personality for the past hour?
This was a good first date. Everyone will fall for you.
If people just human people out like we are see your Netflix special, like, and you're just a civilian, like if I saw someone on Ed Sullivan or Carson, they were like, so they get to see us as just regular quasi wounded little puffy clowns with doing the best we can. And it's very interesting just to hear you talk, you know.
Can you imagine? Sorry, I know you have to go. I know you're not getting paid anymore. You can hop off. Can you imagine if podcasting happened? Can you imagine like Rodney Dangerfield having a podcast?
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine?
Oh, I tell you, I was an ugly kid. I tell you, when I was born, the doctor slapped my mother. I tell you.
And the guest is like, when do I talk?
Show edge in the bag a little bit. Yeah, they all would have done this. It's a unique, bizarre thing. I think we're very fortunate to have it. You can have it, use it as how you like it. It can be just part of a very vast career.
It's on in the background. People listen, they drive.
They're driving.
Scream at their kids.
And you know what?
When we used to do radio, but when we did radio, we came with bits.
Yeah, you had to be on more.
We were really like 6 a.m. and we were like doing, this is just, every time I hang up, I'm like, was that so self-indulgent and boring?
No, you're supposed to talk. We talk too much. You got in.
They like it like as if we just were at Koi having dinner.
We really were. This is what we talk about. I last time I saw Whitney, I walked her to her car and we just talked for a while there. And she's very normal, very lovely, and very not always doing jokes. She's just a very lovely person. So I think on these, it does come up a little bit because people like to see it and hear it, but you're a very normal, nice person.
I saw you backstage at the Comedy Store and I wanted to be your best friend within 10 minutes because we were talking about some subject and you were just so completely, oh yeah, totally agree. I can't remember what we were talking about, but yeah, you just are interesting. You're an interesting person. You covered a lot in this time.
Maybe too much.
That's so Howard Stern. I feel like we've said it all.
We've said it all. There's nothing left to do. There's no stone unturned.
Nothing left to say.
No, we had a million things to talk to you about, but unfortunately, we ran out of time.
I'll throw one out for you that you probably have an opinion about. On Instagram or whatever, the mom is like a celebrity mom. She's like 52 or 53. She's with her daughters about 14, 15. They're dressed alike. The mom looks just as fit. She's filled up whatever she's done. It's like she's like a teenager with her teenager. Anyway.
No.
You see a lot of those. I'm not talking about one person. See a lot of those.
Yeah, that's or good for you. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not particularly good at branding. Maybe I need to make some matching onesies for me and my son, and I might,
Yeah, there you go.
I'm not really bothered by any of it. This is just comedy fodder. To each his own. What other people's opinion of me is none of my business.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of like my mom drank while I just like rolled around on the floor. This generation is like matching with their kid. Maybe we need to go back to just being drunks and ignoring our children. I don't know. It's all, there's no real way to move through the world anymore with any kind of dignity. So it's just a matter of how to be the least cringe you can possibly be and still survive, I guess.
And people always have a problem with it no matter what, as long as we know that.
Well, that's why I don't read comments about anything I do because I already know myself. And if they criticize me, I go, well, of course.
Yeah.
Well, of course I sucked, so
yeah, totally. Like we're our own worst critic. Like I agree with you. I mean, I wouldn't be trying to get strangers' approval if I liked myself. So just If I don't get your approval, don't worry. We're good.
All right. In summation, we all have problems, big problems.
Yes.
No, this is, by the way, I love this show. I hope it was good. Going on shows I'm a fan of is always a little nerve wracking.
Well, I'll be a therapist for a second. What makes you think it wasn't great?
Don't start again. No.
All right, sorry.
No, it's more. I think it's like I'm real friends with Spade, and I'm getting to know you, Dana. So
yeah, that's what's great.
Yeah, I'm like
that's what's great about this. Yeah.
And I think people tune in because they want to hear you guys. I hope I didn't talk too much.
They hear us all the time.
Yeah.
No, we don't. This was great. I mean, sometimes people are very shy, and it's a little bit trying to get them to come out of their shell. And so you were just like, bam, it's great.
Oh,
but
gosh. Okay. I'll shut up.
Trying to think.
All right. Thank you, Whitney.
We'll
call us after, and we will take an hour 15 out of it.
Can I say one other thing I love, just to make everyone laugh about Spade? My favorite thing is what Spade calls women's garments and makeup and stuff. I'm obsessed. One time he was telling me a story about this girl, and he's like, we got along great, but it wasn't gonna, didn't seem like more was gonna happen. And then she went to the bathroom and she came out wearing a teddy.
No, I think I said nightgown, didn't I? Or I call it a teddy?
Well, teddy is funny. Nightgown's not as funny. Teddy is
what's
funny.
An older term?
It's like a sexy nightie.
No,
or
you made fun of
it.
me because you said, "What am I on my cheeks?" And I said rouge or something, and I didn't know what the names of all the makeup was.
Dana, for makeup, like what goes here on a girl on the cheek?
Oh, rouge.
That's blush. That's blush.
Kylie Jenner rouge kit.
What goes all over the skin?
I don't know. My wife does it alone. I don't really see.
Yeah, thank you. It's personal.
I don't know, but yeah, it's we can learn.
What's this called?
What do you think it's called, Whitney?
What's that called? Just smoothing out the makeup? Was there an official word for just rubbing your face?
It's all makeup.
It's like the color of your skin. It's the color of your skin, and it goes all over your skin.
Powder. Right?
Base.
Base.
Is that it? Base. And then you put the eyelashes on and the lipstick and all this stuff. And then you're ready to go walk the street, make some money. You know what I mean? Make a couple bucks. Hi, I'm Bill Burr's brother. And I want to tell you, we love Bill Burr. We love everyone.
Oh, my God. That's so funny to me.
Okay, Whitney, I'll see you on the freeway.
Okay. Love you guys. Thank you.
Love you. Thanks for being on our show.
This has been a presentation of Odyssey. Please follow, subscribe, leave a like, a review, all the stuff. Smash that button, whatever it is, wherever you get your podcasts. Fly on the Wall is executive produced by Dana Carvey and David Spade, Jenna Weiss-Berman of Odyssey, and Heather Santoro. The show's lead producer is Greg Holtzman.